Subscribe and hit the bell icon to never miss another update from India Forums.
I know it's not normal for but women in the crime branch are also normal. I mean, by normal I mean she's not a gangster or a drug peddler or a murderer or a just or an abusive like.
Right from writer's mind to director's mind and director's mind to actor's mind. So here writer director is common. So one transition loss actually got saved.
Taken from the pages of a very mysterious novel that is Six Suspects. We have Pratik Gandhi and Richa Chadha with you. Hope you are doing well.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Alright, so before we get into more detailed questions, if you can just tell us a little about your experience shooting for the show, a little on your characters, apart from what we've already seen in the trailer, and what are the fans looking forward to with the show?
So mine and Richa's character are not a part of the book, and it has been specially written when it was adapted for the screen for the series. So that's how our characters, came in series, and we are sort of a central narrator also. We are taking story forward in different directions. Richa's character's name is Sudha Bhardwaj, and I'm Suraj Yadav, IPS officers. We both are IPS officers. I'm from CBI now. I'm leading the case. Even after being junior to her, 2 batches junior to her, I'm leading the case. And it's a high profile murder case that we are talking about. So there is one murder, multiple suspects, and the whole story about who done it. And that's how it progresses. There are multiple layers to it. There are so many aspects that we are talking about. Some aspects on subtle level, some aspects absolutely that you will see on the face. And that's why I guess it is named the Great Indian Murder also. Because we are talking about a lot of things that we see around us. The socio-political scenario, the bureaucracy, the game, the power dynamics, a lot of things that we talk about. And the show is, as you must have seen in the trailer also, the large scale, fantastic actors, and it has been shot in 9 different cities of India. So a big show, and I guess I have covered everything. So Richa will say as above.
As above. Yeah.
Alright.
Honestly, I fully agree. I think we've been doing interviews. तो जैसे हमारी acting में अच्छी है, tuning बन गई है, interviews में भी बन गई है. We give each other correct cues.
Alright. Richa, you said in one of your interviews about how you're very happy to play a normal character for finally at this point in your career. When you say a normal character, what do you mean? Because I don't think when viewers look at it, it looks like anything close to just a normal character.
I mean, by normal I mean she's not a gangster or a drug peddler or a murderer or a just or an abusive like. So she, in that sense, she's normal. You can have a conversation with her. She's not entirely crazy. So like. I love playing this character because it's very straight up. She's who she is, and she treats her job like a job. She has a very middle class life, of course, with the perks that you get with the government job. You get a coke and a driver and a government car, and all those things are there. But at home, with her family, with her husband, she's very normal. But you know what I mean when I say straight up. Like, I'm known to play characters that are very depressed or very over the top or like too many punchlines. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है यहाँ पे. She's a regular person. She's like you. She'll try to do the right thing. That's what I meant by a normal character. I know it's not normal for but women in the crime branch are also normal. Like that.
Right. Pratik, you've always said that you only care about the kind of good work that you do. Like, I remember talking to you the last time on a call, and that's also something that you maintained, So what is the thought process that goes into picking up your characters or your shows or your projects at large at this point of time, if I were to ask you?
There is no such set thought process. If I read the script, I can relate to the script and the character. And if I get director's vision, where I see myself, adding value to the project, then I would want to be a part of it. So it's purely based on a gut feel, and that's how it works for me. So there are no specific, points that I see apart from the script and the creative team involved. If the whole team resonates the same kind of energy, when you meet the director, when you meet the writer, when you understand what where are they coming from. So I guess that these are the basic things that I look for in a project, in a script. That's it.
All right. Like you mentioned that both your characters have been specially created for the show, and that they're not part of the books. So I think everybody did have a backup point to get to know a little more about, and always know what's in store for their character, roughly, if not completely. So what was the kind of homework, if I were to ask you, went into creating your characters, who they are, and developing the entire project along?
I think the first step was obviously to take all the cues that are present in the script. कि वो, what the Meisner exercise, what people say about you when you're absent. सूरज यादव के बारे में कोई क्या बोलता है, सुधा भारद्वाज के बारे में कोई क्या बोलता है जब वो स्क्रीन पे नहीं है. So you get some clues, then you talk to the director. Then of course I did some. We didn't have the luxury of going meeting people in the crime branch, or because they're not easy to find, and they're not very open with their identity also, because they're investigating such high profile cases. I just read up about investigations in special cases, in high profile cases. What kind of pressures exist on them? Is there rivalry between departments, between the police station, between the crime branch, between the CBI? Although they've all done the UPSC, what is the hierarchy, who has grown how fast, those things I read about. And that is evidence that is around all of us, in the paper you can find. So I read up on those articles.
What about you, Pratik?
But as you correctly said, that see, all other characters which are part of the book and the script were written with their backstories, their detailed stories, whereas mine and Richa's characters were created. So the backstories and all, which are not part of the series that you're going to watch, but it is somewhere for us to keep on the back of our mind, so that we create that relevant character. These things that we discussed a lot, and writer director is common, Digman Chudulia, so that was very easy, because I always understand that there is a transition loss, right from writer's mind to director's mind, and director's mind to actor's mind. So here writer director is common, so one transition loss actually got saved, and our job was very easy to keep as close as possible to his vision. So that way, so it has pluses and minuses both. The minus is that we don't have anything written already for us, and he was creating everything, so it was new and for us, all of us, to explore. The plus is that there were no references, so we can create the way we want, and we can actually have different dimensions also, which can add more value to the script maybe. So this is a very fascinating process for me, and that's how I've approached the character.
All right. Also, another question to you. We know why probably other characters in the show do have a backstory. From whatever I've seen so far, Richa's character also does have a backstory, and we know a little about her character, if not everything. But there's very little that we come to know about your character in the show. So, is there a particular reason, or
One sec, Sanchita, have you
Yes.
seen the show?
Seen it in parts? We've got the screeners, no?
Oh, you've seen it.
Oh, why मुझे लगा with her question. Okay, interesting. You've seen it before us.
So देखिए, अभी हालत ऐसी है कि अभी हम आपको इंटरव्यू कर सकते
हम
हैं,
आपको
क्योंकि हमें बहुत
interview
कुछ
कर
जानना
सकते
है.
हैं.
हमें बहुत कुछ जानना है शो के बारे में.
Someday, sure. Abhi ke liye, if you could answer my question, please. Why is that? Is there a particular reason? Of course,
so
not
the-
to give away spoilers. I
Yeah.
understand, but whatever you can tell us.
I think it's primarily because they need to keep the mystery alive in his character. He's kind of mysterious. He's doing mysterious things. He's always walking away saying हमें जरा कुछ काम है हम आते हैं, हमें जरा फोन आया है हम आते हैं, मतलब किसका फोन है, कहाँ से आया है, कहाँ रहता है. It's the more mysterious it is, the better it is for the show. I guess that's why. And my personal life is also my liability in the show. I'm just saying
Exactly.
it because yeah.
So my question is actually around the same lines. Obviously, the family arc that is there to your character is important, visibly so. Like also you mentioned. Um, but do you think at certain levels it does affect the thought process or decision making process for Sudha when it comes to, like you said, your personal life is a liability. So to what extent did you understand that your character's family arc did affect the decision making process during your work?
See, definitely, it's a situation where um, her decision making, her ability to be truthful to her job and to do it with honesty is affected by her personal life. But she tries to make amends out of that. And I think the same thing happens, why is it that people who turn, suppose a state approver or a state witness abroad are put into a witness protection program? Because somewhere, if you have a family and kahin na kahin they become your majburi also, because that's your soft spot. So I guess in the same way the underworld operates, you know, that's why like my life is an open book and Pratik is mysterious in the show.
All
In
right.
the show.
All right. Second last question. While I was just reading up about things, you have mentioned how other officers are at loggerheads with you, and the quote says that it has male written in the bracket. So, to what extent will we see the gender disequality or something touch upon those lines? So, what do you feel about it, and to what extent and how would we see that pan out for the show?
I think this happens in life also. It happens to me with my own staff sometimes. If I have I used to have a driver. He was from a small village. He would just actually not listen to me and not really respect me. He couldn't understand why, as a younger woman, I was younger than him, and I was a woman, that I'm like he didn't like taking orders from me basically. But it was my job to tell him 8 baje aana hai, 9 baje aana hai. So this is a function of society also, and you do see reflections of that in the show. You do see Suraj kind of reminding Sudha of her place very often. कि ये केस मेरा है and I can remove you anytime I want. He'll say it with a smile, but she'll also understand that he can. He has that power. So this part I find, I think this has added another layer, another dimension to the unfolding of the mystery. Like there's the mystery of the murder, Vicky Rai ko kisne mara, interrogation, witness, blah blah blah. But this gender dynamic between the both of them is very, and Tigmanju is a progressive filmmaker. If he wanted to, my character could also have been male because he's written the character. No, it's not there in the book. So my character could also have been a man. He could be Suraj, I could be Chandar. Who knows? But it could have been a man. He's chosen to put a woman there. So I think he wants to exploit that dynamic also creatively.
Right, makes sense. Last question. If I have to ask you, with the work you've been doing, with the work that you guys have coming ahead, and all the praises that you continue to receive for the work that you do, how difficult is it to make sure that you continue to experiment with what you pick and the kind of roles you accept? Easy or difficult?
I think it is extremely important for an actor to constantly innovate, constantly experiment and improvise. Because the moment you stop doing that, you will stop growing as an actor, and that's the biggest pitfall it's a nightmare to have, that you stop growing suddenly. You just keep doing what you have been doing. So the kind of love that you get from the audience for whatever that they've loved till now, they'll start hating you for the same if you repeat the same thing again.
I totally owe my whole career to experimentation. I can't say no. I only got Gangs of Wasipur because a lot of people said no to it. I'm very aware, and that's what put me on the map. They said no to it because there was aging in it, and I can understand those fears, and they're valid. It was like a mixed blessing, but I like where would I have been if I hadn't done it? I don't know. Maybe it would have taken me longer to get here. I would have gotten here, but it would have taken me longer for sure. Uh, yeah, so I think constantly experimenting is because people in like they want to understand you also, even casting directors, filmmakers, they want to understand you better. So they like to put you in a box. इस टाइप का है तो ऐसा कर लेगा, इस टाइप का है तो ऐसा कर लेगा, ये चुलबुली फ्रेंड हो सकती है, ये गर्ल नेक्स्ट डोर हो सकती है. We have very fixed notions of what we want to see, of what we want to. But I think casting against type is brilliant. So I look for those parts.
Alright, that was it from me. I've also got my heads up from Nilima, so I'll take your leave. Thank you so much. I was really looking forward to having this entire conversation, especially because I have seen bits and pieces of the show.
Hey guys, check out our revamped website at www.indiaforums.com to get your daily dose of entertainment.